Turn it on.
Cool, we're on.
Yes, we are. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Website Redesign Committee.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe if you, yeah, make sure to hit that bell. To get your notification. Anyway, yeah, so let's dive right in. We got a pretty straightforward agenda today. I'm hoping, oh, hey, there's Francisco. Hey, Francisco, how you doing?
Hi, sorry I'm a little late.
Oh, you are fine. Do we know if Joey's calling in too?
I'm just texting him right now. I thought he would be, but I'll let you know in a couple minutes.
Awesome, no worries. We got a few things to chat about outside of design, so let's start off with that. There we go. Yeah, so we'll dive right in here. We have a ticket open over on the Node.js/Node side. Oh, sorry, that is your ticket. Francisco, maybe you can
actually
talk about that a little bit in progress.
Yeah, I've got the fork up now that the pull request is going to be coming from. So I'll link that in the chat. You guys can take a look. We got the initial thing working. We're just choosing like the 3 or 4 key ones now, and then aside from that, the only thing that would block is right now it's just using the main server, and we want to change it to be like, runkit demo or something, so we can like push updates to that and like affect the node site and not affect like everything else, and doing that sort of thing.
Beautiful.
So I'll post that right now.
It'll be in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how chat works here.
Yeah, sweet. Very cool. So for context, this is issue number 21723 in Node.js/Node, creating a branch of the docs using runkit for live demos for the snippets. Sweet. And so current status is this is running in a branch that you have of the Node docs.
I guess the what.
PR.
Yeah, and it's running off a master right now.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, that's the way to go. But I imagine when I make it the PR, if someone's like, oh, because all this is with that remark stuff. So I don't know if like I should also be doing something based off of whatever the like 10.0 release branch is or not. But for now, the idea is I think everything just works for like the upcoming Node 11 thing, which might even just be for the best. And it's like, it'll just be one page. It's like kind of beta, and maybe take it from there.
Are you thinking this will be deployed separately from the main site, or are you hoping to see this go out to do a traffic load test?
Oh, I think it should, as far as I understand from just looking at the just the make file, the build scripts and stuff. I think if the PR is accepted, it should like, I guess on the next release of the site, just work.
Just work, sweet. Yeah, I guess we'll find out when you PR it if PRing against master is the right place to do that, if we're gonna have to go off of the 10.0 branch.
Sorry, I'm just having to copy the link manually from my phone.
No worries. Take your time. Cool. Well, that's really exciting. Look forward to seeing the PR.
Joey's in here as well, in the attendees.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Sweet. Hey, Joey. Oh, you got an extra visitor joining today.
This is my assistant. He's nameless. He's just here.
Awesome. More the merrier.
Yes. How's everybody?
Doing well.
Good.
Well as you can on a Thursday morning, right? Exactly. Oh, there's the link. Awesome.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Cool.
No worries. sure your assistant has us covered. Cool. And Francisco, I'm going to post this on the meeting issue as well.
Cool.
Sweet. Awesome. I look forward to taking a look at that in the diff there after the meeting. Sweet. Moving right along. Just keep us posted if there's anything we can do to help once you PR it. Otherwise,
Will do.
See it. Where's the meeting ticket? There we go. So next issue on the agenda is number 76 in the website redesign repo. This is about consuming localized docs from Node.js i18n. Zeke opened this up because there's discussion underway in the i18n repo about how to publish and surface translation packages. So it seemed more like a visibility thing on our end, just so we're aware of what the thinking is and we can flag it if we see something coming up. We invited Zeke to come here. It looks like he couldn't make it, unfortunately. I'm planning on going and commenting on that ticket. It looks like the gist of it, just from reviewing, they're going to publish they're going to publish a node module with just all the translation content. Manuel, is that accurate? You probably have a bit more context on this than me. You're muted, Manuel. We can't hear you.
Hello. Hey.
Hey.
To recap the past couple of seconds, I think on their side, someone has already been making a couple of commits and Zeke has been working with them to pull it together. And yes, this is, as you said, more on the visibility side for us, at least the issue that they've made. I invited Zeke to come and directly, I suppose, solicit feedback on what they want from the website redesign and whether or not we're going to have to make any changes in our process to work with what they're doing on their module. But it seems, I mean, from what I saw, it doesn't seem like we're going to need to change much. We haven't actually started implementation, so we might just need to just work it into our process.
Yeah, I guess my thought on that is probably when we get to implementation, once we're done with design, we're going to change basically everything on how we deploy. Like, nothing is going to stay the same as far as I'm aware. Like, I've been looking at PRs in the website repo, and we have to get explicit PRs from every single translation group right now. It's a nightmare because a PR can't land without those explicit approvals and translations. So, that's going to even ease up that in terms of a PR review process. But in terms of actual deployment, being honest, I don't think it's going to look like anything what it looks like right now. So that can just be integrated into the, whatever changes we do make, rather than needing to rework existing or prior art.
Yeah.
Will that initiative, sorry, Adam, you were saying?
No, go for it, Manuel.
Would that initiative need to be involved in our process at this stage, or would we want to pull them in later on for it to work for us?
My guess is later on, but Adam might have more context on that.
I think we know enough about the structure we're hoping to move towards that we can just be engaged in the conversation. I'm literally just reading over this issue right now with the pull request for the i18n module right now. I need to dig in a little bit more, but if they're kind of delivering it just as one giant bundle, we might be. I need to read more about this. But depending on how they built it, they're just importing Node.js /i18n, unless that's doing some type of data call in the background to a service to get the language, just the language code that you need, and this is meant to be a build tool. It looks to me like it's just all delivered in one giant node module, which is not great for delivering a static site, which I think is what we're hoping to build out, because you don't get to do code splitting that way. So we should chat with them, see if that's initial look that I'm getting from this is correct, or if I'm reading it wrong. We also, we know we want to use some kind of, oh, it's early, some kind of content management system like headless CMS. Not on the issues list or agenda list today, but something that I was gonna bring up during this topic anyway. Kieran passed along his contact at Contentful to me, and had a great talk with them earlier this week. They're very interested in helping provide that headless CMS functionality. We're exploring a partnership with them so that we can allow people who are not necessarily technically savvy to update the static pages on the site, and publish without having to make PRs. They do have a translation or like a locale service where you can publish, I think, up to 10 locales is what would be in the package that we'd be going with if we go in that direction. But that's manual translation. People need a Contentful account to contribute it. And Contentful also has a really nice API, which so does the translation service we're using on the IATN side. So it'd be great if there's an integration there. So we need to talk about that. And then how all that hooks in with whatever the heck we used to bundle a static site would be interesting. So I think there's value in us being engaged with all that being said, there's value in us being engaged with the conversation now, since we know a couple major pieces that are going to be a requirement for building out moving forward. I'll comment on this issue with my thoughts and concerns.
Cool.
Yeah, sweet. Anything else on Node.js ITN module? And then engage where you see fit. Cool. Onward and upward, issue number 60 on website redesign, getting started content. So I was bad open source citizen here and didn't comment on some progress I made with a meeting with the, I met with the Node School San Francisco folks a little earlier, and had a good talk about this content and about some of their thoughts and things that they've run into while teaching. They came up with a few good ideas, which I have meeting notes I need to comment into there. But nothing ground, earth shattering on the bulk of the content in this ticket already came from that conversation. So it hasn't changed much, although I found a few good contacts over at Microsoft who might be interested in contributing some docs. So I'm trying to close the loop on them. Might meet with them on Monday. Miniel, do you have any movement on your end from tickets here? Same with you, Tierney? Or from issue number 60?
So the person I reached out to, again, at Microsoft, she was on vacation and asked if she could get back to me in 2 weeks. So I'll ping her again probably next week. But okay. Otherwise, no. Again, I think talking to Jen about this might also be a helpful thing, because I know she expressed an interest in that early on.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, if there's specific folks or people at different companies that you want to try to get in touch with about this stuff, I'm very happy to help make those connections. And we've had a lot of things going on at Glitch, and we're sort of moving forward with growth internally. And so I'm now the director of community engineering, and I'm going to be hiring people. And so I'm very happy to delegate time for those people to be helping out with this stuff. So if you have needs, let me know, and I can figure out a way to fill them, either through us here at Glitch or finding people at other companies, so we have more people involved.
Congrats on the promotion.
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations. That's huge.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think our biggest need is somebody who can just really dig into content creation here. So we have these high hopes for getting started guides. We have a good list of like very preliminary ideas and a very early idea of how we'd want to structure a good chunk of it. It seems like the Node School conversation was very nice because it was further validation on the structure and the approach that we're taking. That you know, focusing on, you know, the basic getting started. Here's how you download Node. Here's how to get started. But then you want to be a front-end developer, go here. You want to learn stuff about sysops, go here. You want to learn stuff about API server development, go here. And kind of having these learning paths for different focus areas, rather than just like, hey, here's a whole bunch of information and everything. Go have fun being a full stack engineer. So everybody who I've talked to over the past week, Node School and outside of it seems to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. We should take it.
Where are the notes from that meeting, or is it just this here issue with the stakeholders list?
The notes from the Node School meeting are currently sitting on my computer, so I need to synthesize that into something that makes sense and stick it in this issue. So they'll appear here in a moment if you, or later today if you watch this issue.
Okay, cool. I'll keep an eye out for it.
I have two small updates on that front, tiny updates. This weekend, Node School Vancouver is doing, we're doing an intro to open source, which is our first one. That's not the usual one where we're supporting, where we're doing workshoppers like the usual Node School workshoppers. So the agenda for that is we'd like to get people, well, the goal of that is we'd like to get people starting to contribute to open source, and it's open to people of any experience level. But it's very small. It's capped at about 10 to 15 people. So hopefully there will be some people who are interested in any part of that list, and they may want to start putting together documentation. But we're going to take them through Node School issues and Node issues. So it's not necessarily focused on that, but I will bring that part up because documentation is a great way to get started. And on the second front, I think there was discussion in diagnostics about a best practices guide, which might fit in well with our ops category of ops and tooling category of guides. I just pointed them at this repo. There's a link in issue 60 if you want to chase down that conversation.
Awesome. Where what you said there was a link in which issue?
In issue 60 at the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Sweet. Yeah, oh, it's Mike. Cool. Yeah, we'll if we don't hear back in a little bit, we'll follow up with somebody who seems to be leading that and try and get him to PR a docs page in for that. That's awesome. Very cool. Sweet. So we'll keep pounding away at our contacts there and start to organize a better content pipeline here. And that brings us to design update. Joey and his little helper. How you been? How you doing?
Hi guys. Is the website done yet? Oh God, we're in big trouble.
Oh geez, guys.
What website?
Oh dear.
You're all grounded.
So I will be, what is today, Thursday? So I'm coming to San Francisco Sunday, and then Adam, you, Francisco, and I will get together and figure out a time to kind of look over some updated concepts based on feedback from our initial meeting. And yeah, we'll go from there.
That's beautiful. Yeah, so for just recap of what happened a couple weeks ago, we saw a first super high concept pass of some directions that the website could possibly go in. And Tierney and I provided some thoughts and opinions on where we'd like to see it go and where we think it would be great. Joey's taken that and running with it, and where he's off making something absolutely kick-ass for us. So yeah, the plan is to keep it small, probably just to this small group that attends these meetings regularly, or even smaller early on, just to keep design by committee out of Joey's hair.
I think the smaller early on, the better, only because more of to make sure that I'm presenting something that makes sense to the group, if that makes sense, because I'm still very early to learning about all this stuff. So my hope is that what you guys will see next week will get me a lot closer to maybe by like round 3 concepts we can begin to show to the group is what I'm hoping. My guess is that the round 2 still won't be quite ready to show yet. But yeah, I think in the next few weeks we should have like a round 3 that we can begin to get some real feedback from the group, and so people can kind of see what direction we're headed in. So that's my goal, and my fingers will be crossed that that'll happen. So it'll be cool.
Awesome. Thank you for the update, Joey. Sweet. And that exhausts our agenda. Is there any other topics people wanted to bring up?
I did have a brief discussion with a foundation member or employee, I guess, just about, about the headless CMS stuff. And one thing they did express was that, and again, this isn't final. That's why I'm not naming who it is. This isn't like a final thing at all, but they did express that because they work on multiple Linux Foundation projects, working in WordPress, which is what the Foundation site currently is, really does help their workflow. And so they said, I was specifically expressing an interest in possibly, did I drop? Possibly joining the 2 sites together again. And specifically because there is a lot of overlapping content, or possibility for overlapping content. Like they're doing some interesting things that are very community oriented. They also have content that is not necessarily specific to Foundation goals. But it is also useful for community members. So I expressed, that we'd be interested in, rejoining those things. And their, initial take was that for the work that they have to do for the Foundation, it's nice to continue that WordPress workflow, just because it's a much lower barrier for them. But that the things that are overlapping, we could possibly just put into the Node.js site and kind of have them live there on top of, on top of what we're doing already. And then they could have their Foundation specific things in the Foundation site.
Yeah, I will be a hard no on getting anything WordPress into the new site.
Yeah, no, I will too.
Yeah. So we'll, yeah, we that's good to know for context.
Yeah,
we could just buy one of their built-in templates, right? Save ourselves all this work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Premium themes.
Only $25. Yeah, so just wanted to give that context because I did talk about it a little bit with an individual. So
yeah, awesome. I need to loop back with a couple of people there and keep those conversations going too. So yeah, Jen, you were going to say something.
No, I was just joking about WordPress. Actually, I was wondering if any of y'all are going to be at JSConf US next week.
I will not be, unfortunately.
Okay.
I don't think so, unless Francisco is going.
I'm not, sorry.
Yeah.
Is this the Hawaii one or?
No, this is the one in Carlsbad. I think Hawaii's in a few months.
Got it.
Yeah. I guess like they didn't recognize Hawaii as part of the US. They had to rename the JSConf mainland.
Yeah.
How about the Linux Foundation's API Strategy and Practice Conference in Nashville is in end of September? I was wondering if there was anyone. No.
The next thing I'm going to is the Vancouver conference, at least.
Okay.
I will not be, although I'm probably going to be moving down to New York at that time. But
Sick. Finally.
Yeah, finally. But my boss is the one who created that conference before it was a Linux Foundation conference, so I might be able to make it out with that justification. So maybe I'll see if I can make that work.
Cool.
Speaking of speaking of the Vancouver conference, we have a community corner, and maybe we could discuss that because I believe you put in a proposal. Tierney mentioned it in the issue. Do we know what we might want to talk about or use our time for there?
So I submitted one of the forms saying that we'd like to give a talk about website redesign stuff, and put in some very generic copy about, hey, we're redesigning the website. So we can literally talk about anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's literally just a placeholder. So if anybody has a specific thing they want to talk about and just want to get up the stage and present about it, we can do that. Otherwise, I can repurpose that Medium article from a long time ago, and we can just talk about the process from here, or we can yeah, I don't know.
I do think it would probably be a good place to have a call to action for people to come and join, and also help us with the content stuff, because JS Interactive is going to be very focused on JavaScript and kind of the broader ecosystem rather than Node.js and what it's typically been in the past. So this will probably be a good venue to talk to people about, hey, do you want to write an article about Vue in Node, or React in Node, or Angular in Node, or Ember in Node, or any of the things, and have them, be able to engage with them and try to see if we can get content there.
Yeah, we can certainly have that CTA at the end of whatever we do. Yeah. How about we, do we have an issue open for this yet in the repo?
I don't think there's one in our repo, but there's one in the Summit repo.
Let's open up an issue. I'll do it right now. JS Interactive Community Corner topics/ideas. Sweet. We have an issue open. It's issue number 80. Let's brainstorm here for stuff we could talk about, and we'll have this on the agenda for next time to talk about in more detail.
Cool.
Sweet. I think it'll also depend on how far we are, what state the final design and our content partnerships are in, because using the time for just a recap of everything that's happened and a hey, we're awesome, you should come join too type of pitch would probably be valuable, rather than deep diving into something specific like implementation or something. But yeah, we can discuss on the ticket. I have one more point of order, just to ask the group here. We are all on the West Coast, and as much as I love seeing y'all's bright and shining faces the second I get out of bed, it's very nice to have a bit more of a relaxing morning. Does anybody have an objection to moving this back by one more hour, since have anybody in crazy time zones?
Hold on, give me one sec. So we can't move it back by one because the end user feedback meeting is in an hour. They moved a day back, so we'd have to move it 2 or more.
I can't do 2. Shoot. Oh well. That's okay. Right. I like going to the feedback meetings.
We could also change the day.
That's also true. Let me. I'll do the legwork of sending out a when is good, and we'll see if there's another time that works well for this crew. I'll send it out to people here and ping the repo with it as well for anybody else who wants to throw their times in.
Cool. Thanks, Adam.
Cool. Awesome. That's all I got. Do we call it a meeting?
Sure.
Sweet.
Thanks,
Thank you all for joining. Thank everything.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
Next time.
Bye,
everybody.